Howdy folks, and welcome to Mars. We're back with a new mini-series here on Space Engineers. It's not going to be an exhaustive series, but we'll have some episodes here and there. And what I want to do with this is build an ore processing facility, rather large one, and then have automated cargo drones running ore to this processing facility from various mines that we build around. So I'm running some mods. There'll be a link to that in the description. The main mod that changes gameplay is deeper ores, so we got to go deep to get to stuff. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Most of the mods are just quality of life stuff. So let's get into it. I'm in this little rover here, and starting out with just basic tools. Kind of the usual. Didn't realize I had a rifle. We've got a little bit of ice just to help keep us alive. And I built this rover, I don't remember which series it was, but I built this in one of my previous series. It's just kind of a basic rover with some drills. The drills are useful for gathering up the rocks you find, like that one right back over there. But let's get the solar panels folded up, and I believe it's been a while since I used this rover. Yeah, number 2 should retract those. So I've got build vision, gives me a little extra info when you have the tab in the right spot. So let's release the parking, and we're going to do a little scouting here. I kind of like this area where I started. It's nice and flat. Might build the facility there, but I want to be fairly close to some iron, because that's of course going to be our main need right away. If I remember right, yeah, there's some ice over here. I think even the ice is like 27 meters deep or so. So let's go ahead and mark that. And we also have some silicon over here. Kind of in the same spot, so let's go back to our GPS. And we'll just update that. There we go. So it looks like ice and silicon. Let's go see what this rock has to offer. We'd like to get a little bit of rock, or so a little bit of stone and a little bit of iron, just to get started. And then we're going to find a flat spot, get kind of a basic thing going. So we got a nickel rock there. It wouldn't hurt to have some nickel, but I might just mark that. So if it's a rock, I'm just going to put an R in front of it. Super easy. So we've got a couple hours worth of battery power. You can see we've got the supply post over there. Let's turn off the ore detector. Let's do just a little bit of running around. Let me see what I can find. And then we'll get started on a build. We got over here. It's pretty close. I was going to cut away, but this one right over here is pretty close. And then I also have a mod that increases the range of the ore detectors just because everything's so deep. And it looks like this is just pure ice. I did like that flat spot I was at, but... Alright, I'm going to do some running around and I'll be back. Found a little bit of silver here, so I'm going to go ahead and mine some of that up. I think I'll do that from the uphill side. I want a little bit of stone, but not a ton of stone. So let's get lined up a little better on here. I'm finding quite a bit of stuff. No iron yet, but we'll eventually find iron. There are resources everywhere. All right, so we want to turn on our drills. Set these guys rotating back and forth. I thought I had... Do I have a... I do have ejectors. I thought I had something that would make these go back and forth. Maybe but apparently I don't. So we'll just nose in here. That should get a decent little amount of silver. Let me turn that on. Let me raise those up. Yeah, that's plenty of silver to get us started. Alright, the search is on. I need to find an iron boulder and a flat spot. And we'll get started with a basic little base and the start of a refinery. We're going to have to set up some basic production before I can build, you know, like the big production I want to do. Some more nickel. Finding a lot of nickel. Seeing spots all over the place. There's a rock right over this hill here. Come on, iron. Doesn't look very red. More silicon? Yep. I mean, I guess I'll mark it. You can see how many silicon rocks I've been finding. And that's more nickel. How deep is the nickel? About 60? It's not too bad. So this is silicon and nickel. And some magnesium. I did find magnesium in a rock. This is actually, wow, that's like 200 meters down, huh? So we're going to have some engineering to do to get to these deeper ores. So let me just update that last one. That was this guy. Turn all those off. And the search continues. Here we go. We got some iron and some gold. The gold is pretty deep. Ice, iron, and gold. Not a bad spot. So we have iron, gold, and ice. Not much for flat spots around here, though. This is a pretty good sized iron deposit. There's like a couple spots there. A little bit of a rough patch there. We got a bunch of ice here. Fair enough. So the other thing I meant to mention in the intro is I want to do a bunch of automation, but we're not running any scripts. It's all going to be using the built-in things. And I would like to even try maybe some mining drones. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do the mining yet. I've got some ideas. But we're going to have to go deep. So we're going to have something up top, and then we'll have like a shaft, and then we'll have some mining equipment underneath. Apparently there's some silver down there somewhere. I'm trying to see. It's a little hard to tell how flat this is because it's such a featureless plane. We're getting a little ways from the iron. Let's actually see what's up here. I like that iron and ice spot. That's a pretty good one. But it's not very flat back there. Damaged antenna. Interesting. So we got some silicon and some ice, magnesium. Rock over there. Silicon, ice, magnesium. There's Mr. Rock over here. Oh, it is iron. I was about to say it doesn't look like iron because there was no red, but... Whoa, we're getting a little heavy now that we got some ore on board. So I think we want to mine from the other side. It looks like maybe the ore is closer to that. Outside. So this should be enough iron to kind of get us started. And we'll head back over to that GPS marker. So if we go look at, yeah, that one's good. Turn that one off. Back up just a hair. Pretty sure at one point I had a version of this rover that would go up and down. Might have to put some event controllers on here. Don't already have event controllers. I do have event controllers. Okay, cool. So I probably set that up and then didn't save the blueprint, would be my guess. Classic Kerbo move. Yeah, this doesn't make quite as wide as the vehicle, so. Alright, that's good. Let's get that back up. And let's head back to the area. Let's find a flat spot around this iron and ice deposit. We need ice to survive. We don't need a lot of ice, but we do need some ice. And I gotta remember, we're getting kind of full, so we're a little heavier than normal. But right in here is actually not terribly bad for flatness. In fact, let's just let's hop out here. I haven't even set up my toolbar yet. Yeah, this might not be too bad just right here. So let's get some stuff percolating. And let's get the... It is retract is timer 1. So I want to go to my survival kit here and go up some of that. Is indeed on. Did I not, yeah, I mined stone. It has stone in it. Oh, that's concrete. Right. I forgot I had a mod. This is what I want. I added a concrete mod so we can build with concrete. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. So let me process up a bit of that, and we'll get a base put down. And we'll kind of get... we need some power and a battery. And then start working on some basic refinery setup. That'll kind of bootstrap, and then we can start building our larger base. Once we have some production in place and ready to go. Well, I'm learning things. To make concrete blocks, of course, you need concrete. The survival kit is really slow at making concrete, so I'm going to cut it off at 60. And then we got some basic stuff going here. Some iron plates and whatnot. So let's get those transferred over. Oh, really? I can't do that through the cockpit. Okay. Is there too big? Those I can. Okay. Guess the steel plates can't come through the small port. We do have lots of sunlight here, which is great. Really? I thought I had the fixed version of this spawned in. Maybe I don't. We have to go up here. I had a version of this where you couldn't get to stuff from the back. Yeah, I think I accidentally have the broken version on here. Oh well. So we'll let that chug, but what I wanted to do was at least lay down some basics here. So let's get to that. And we're on gravity line. There we go. That's a meaty sound. Perfect. So let's make a 3x3, and we're gonna go up with some light armor blocks. I don't usually play with jetpack enabled, so I'm gonna have to get used to having a jetpack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go 9 that way so we can get them 8 apart. I don't remember exactly how far apart they need to be for the wind turbines. And I do not have a I don't have a bottle, so got to be careful with the hydrogen use till I get that in. And I want to make myself some upgraded tools. We can get the tier 1 tools with just the basic materials we have. So I think that will be a nice upgrade. There we go. Let's see. We've got a survival kit. Here it is. That filled up. Okay, let's get on our build planner. 3 of those. And we're gonna say put those into production. Oh yeah, this, I can't withdraw from there. Well, that's gonna be a pain, but that's okay. We won't be using this to build for very long. Let's see if we can get at least one of these going. Nope, not much. All right, I gotta generate some more parts. Also, I need to move the gravel to the end. Let it chug on that stuff. All right, let me get some more parts in, and we'll get a basic assembler, a basic refinery down, and then we'll start making some batteries. And that's going to be kind of time consuming, so I won't make you sit through that. Alrighty, we've got a basic assembler and a basic refinery up and going. I ran out of stone. I had to go get some more stone, and I found another iron rock. So we've got quite a bit of iron. So I want to get a cargo container and a battery and stuff like that going. So let's work on that. I think that is... Nope, I don't have that on here. So let's get rid of those guys. Oops, wrong button. So let's throw a cargo container there. And then I want to get a battery in place. And I kind of want to put that... We need steel plate, right? I don't have any steel plate in here. Whee! Well, that worked out great, didn't it? I hardly ever use the jetpacks, like I said, so I am no good at it. No steel plates there either. Okay, we'll crank some of those up in the assembler then. We've got some iron refined, so we'll get that chugging away. Put that into production. And if I can just grab some steel plates. I kind of want the battery to be protected, like under the concrete. Also, one of the design goals for this series is not to disturb the surface, like any more than I have to. I really enjoyed that aspect of Engineered Coffee's playthrough. Something I'd never really thought about before, but yeah, if we don't mar up the surface, then it's gonna look better. But I do plan to go and have this covered, so I'm going to go ahead and drill down. We're going to put a battery underneath here. Let's see, is it L? Yeah, L for lights. So this battery's just going to live right under here. Like that, right buried in the ground. So we'll also put that stuff into production. Then it's a matter of waiting for stuff to happen and transferring things over. I do want a connector as well, so let's get a connector on here. I'm going to get my toolbars set up. And this will be temporary. This is not going to stay here. It's just so I can offload the rover into the cargo container when the time comes. Alright, so I have all those on my build planner. Let's go ahead and take those off. I want to build up the cargo container first. Then we'll get the connector on there. And then we'll worry about the battery. So I'm going to let that chug away. I'm going to transfer some of that stuff by hand, the stone and the iron ore over, so we don't run out of things to build with. And I will be back in a bit. You know, I'm a little rusty with the space engineers, and I forgot I need cobalt for the cargo. So I've been running around, did quite a bit of searching, and finally found a boulder. Also found a large deposit of iron and cobalt and nickel. So we can get a lot of that at some point. But for right now, I just need a little bit to get the storage containers and stuff going. And this boulder will do nicely. Still got quite a bit of iron in the rover here. Get low on storage back at the base. There was just the assembler in the refinery. Should be pulling in the old cobalt. There we go. Lots of cobalt. Excellent. Here we go. That will do. So I'm going to head back, get some of this refined, and get the storage all squared away. And I'll see y'all in a bit. I need to rename this to home. That way it's up at the top. Take me back home. There, we had to go a little over 5 kilometers from base. But I did end up finding some cobalt, so it's all good. Alright, progress. We got the cargo container and the connector built. We got that rover hooked up. I got the other 2 wind turbines going. Got the battery built. And I built a concrete block. It looks pretty good. I like it. Get my tab back on here. So I was just going to weld some of these up. It's a little slow, so let's go to here. Looks like we might be out of nickel. Go back to inventory, refinery. Yeah, we need to have it do some more stone, don't we? Let's fill that up that way. Alright, once it cranks through the iron... Actually, let's do that. We've got quite a bit of iron. So, what I meant to do was go to production, and I want to make some tools. So we should be able to make the first tier. So I got nickel, cobalt, silicon. I've got all that stuff. So let's queue up one of those, one of those, and one of those. We can get rid of these just base tools. I'm going to throw those in the rover. Like that. Then we will grab these. Oh, why do you have to make the thing so giant there? Can't even see what I'm clicking on. Then, of course, we need to go to here, and we need to clear those out, link that up, and we are golden. So now it's just a little bit faster welding. So I wanted to get this 3x3 base welded up, but we don't have enough concrete. And also I need to take that out so I can weld that one. So I think we've got a decent amount of gravel, right? A little bit of gravel. I'm gonna have to make like a concrete plant at some point because I'm gonna use a lot of concrete. That's gonna be our main base material. Let's just queue up a bunch of that. Let that chug away, but that's a pretty good start. We got it bootstrapped. I need a little more storage. I need to get a regular assembler, not just a basic assembler made up. And then we need to start mining somewhere. So we'll get that started, but I want to get a little better production set up. Probably at least one large storage container made here at this base. Because even just pulling stuff out of the rover, this keeps filling up. So I'll be working on some of that in between episodes. I don't know if I'll do this weekly or what. It's not going to be an exhaustive series, like I said. It's just going to be kind of some highlights as we dive into some automated deep ore mining. So that will be it for this one. Thanks as always for watching. And I'll catch you in the next adventure. Take care.